Hi, everyone. Welcome again for those that attended the previous presentation. So hello again. The purpose of the subject of this presentation is to talk about the B2B store. How can you use it? How you can customize it? And of course, I'll start by describing what it is, and that might help you decide if whether you want to use it or not. Okay, so the B2B store. And before I go any further, we have one more workshop today that will focus on the sales and purchasing workflows, and that will start in just about an hour. I'll be doing that one as well. Okay, so let's talk about the B2B store. This is a feature that we've added fairly recently, a few months ago in Erplain, and we'll continue to make it evolve over time, of course. With your feedback, we've already added quite a few things since it was launched, and we'll continue to do so in the next few months. What the B2B store is, it's very simple. It's like an e-commerce store for your B2B customers. So why do we insist on B2B? Simply because there are some specificities to dealing with the B2B customers that might not be handled just as well on other e-commerce platforms. And we actually have a lot of customers that are using our B2B store in combination with Shopify for their B2B sales. All these sales are centralized in Erplain, and they can leverage some of the B2B features that Erplain has to offer. So what do I mean by that? And of course, I'll talk more in details about those specific B2B features, but the first one I would mention is the price level. So as you know, if you're already using Erplain, we have the ability to have multiple price levels for each of your products. So you can have retail price, wholesale price, you can create tier 1, tier 2, VIP price, whatever you need here. And you can have all these prices assigned to each of your products. When you create a customer in Erplain, you can assign a price level to this customer, and whenever you're selling to this customer, when you create a sales order, an estimate, or an invoice in Erplain will automatically get the corresponding price level for each of the products that you select. Of course, the price level are fully supported by the B2B store, so that means if you invite one of your customers to the B2B store, they are going to see the price levels that have been assigned to them. So depending on the customer, they might or might not see different prices for the same product. So that's an important thing that is managed by the B2B store. Another thing would be the product selection. So depending on the customer, you can also choose to have different categories of products, so the tags specifically in Erplain. So you have tags, brands, and seasons that you can categorize your product for, and then you can use those categories to select the products for each customer. So if you want to, all your customers can see the same products, but when you invite each customer, you can select specific tags, brands, or seasons that they might see. So they might see different products by the customer. So that's another important part. And then finally, something that is also very useful in terms of the sales workflow is Erplain supports sales orders, shipping orders, multiple shipping orders, supports invoicing, and of course the B2B store is fully compatible with all this. So without further ado, let me show you what it looks like. So let's say I invited one of my customers to the B2B store, and this is what he's going to see. So you simply go into the B2B store menu, and you click on customers. And when you click on customers, you'll see all the customers that you're invited to your B2B store. And then if you click on the eye icon here, you're going to see what your customer will see. And again, if I click on the eye icon for a different customer, they might see different things. So here, this is the e-commerce. Store that I was referring to earlier. You can customize it with some banners at the top with the themes of colors. That's something also you can do, and I'll show you how you customize those in a few minutes. And if I'm a customer, I can simply browse through the products. I can filter the products. So if I want to see only the products with certain tags. I will only see the products that have that tag. So that's something that I can do. I can also customize which filters are visible on the left side. We'll look at that in the customization as well. Okay, let's remove the tag. So I'm back to the list of my products. I can also have some featured products at the top. So that's also in the customization. We'll show you what it looks like. If I click on any product, I can see more information. So of course, all that is pulled from your Erplain product profile. If you have a couple photos, you can add them here as well. So they'll be visible in the portal as well. Directly from here or from the home page, you can add some products to your cart. So let's just add one of each, for example. And then I go back to the home page, and there we go. I can select more products. So for example, here, if I have product with variants being colors and sizes, for example, but it can be a lot wider than sizes and colors. These are the most common and easier to explain, but based on your type of product, the options such as color and sizes can be customized as well, so they can be specific to your type of products. And then you can simply, okay, let's just add that one to the cart as well. And when the customer is ready to place the order, we open the cart. I can see the summary of my cart. I can make some changes here if I want to add one more of those, for example, or add one of those. And if I click on proceed to order, I'll have the summary of the order that I want to place. If I have discounts set up in my customer profile, so of course it's not me as a customer that can do that, but it's the Erplain admin that can do that. So I can assign discounts to my customer. They'll be visible here. I can add some notes as a customer to share with the supplier team per se. And then you can customize also shipping address and that type of thing. If I click on finalize order, so I'm not going to do it here. I'm not sure if actually it's going to work, because here I'm just simulating the connection for as a customer. It's not the real customer portal. It's just exactly what it would look like if I were to connect as a customer. Of course, when you invite your customer, the customer will receive an email with their login and password, and they will log into to Erplain. They can even see a customized screen as well from that page. What happens when the customer clicks on finalize order? Very simple. It's creating a sales order in Erplain. And I can show you what it looks like in just a couple minutes. Before I navigate away from the B2B store, your customers can also check their order history and their invoice history. So here, if I click on order history, for example, I can check all the orders that I've placed. I can check my invoices. And we talked about the Stripe integration in the previous workshop, but I'll talk about it again. If you've set up Erplain with Stripe, so if you added the integration to Stripe, your customers will also see when they open the invoice. So it's not going to be visible here again because I'm just simulating the connection, but they will see a pay invoice button directly in the invoice. So here, that's what it would look like if I open the invoice. But if I had the Stripe integration, I would have another button that would say pay invoice. Very simple. There's also an About Us page. So if you want to share some information about your company, some information about your terms and conditions, or why they should trust you, for example, you can include that information here in that About Us page. So when I'm done simulating or looking at what my customer would see, I can click on Leave Store. Don't forget to click on Leave Store because otherwise next time you connect to your Erplain account, you're going to see the B2B portal. Not a big deal. You can always click on the Exit Store, but Leave Store, but that's a quick tip if you want. So what happens when I click on Finalize Order? When my customer clicks on Finalize Order, as I mentioned, it's simply going to create a sales order. And I believe I have some that I've created from the B2B store on that account. As you can see here, I have some orders that are pending validation. And this is the first step. When you receive an order that you receive from the B2B store. It's going to create a sales order, but the status of that sales order will be pending validation. At this stage, nothing has been updated in your inventory. So it has not reserved your products like it would on an active sales order. Nothing has been updated yet until you actually validate the order. If you want to see all the orders from that page, and I'm going to show you, of course, but if you want to see, I've created here a default view so that I can see only active and pending validation orders. Of course, I can filter only on the ones that are pending validations, and I can even add a filter on those that are just coming from the B2B store. So I'm just going to see all the orders that are coming from the B2B store by using the filters here. If I do want to proceed with the order, I open the order here and I click on validate. Sorry, just a quick note here. I do see some questions. Please keep the questions for the end of the presentation. I'll make sure I cover as many questions as I can, but I'll finish. I try to answer as many of those during the presentation, and if anything else, I'll make sure I address those questions. So when I'm ready to validate the order, I click on validate, and the order has been confirmed. I see some related questions, so I was going to talk about it. So here you can add shipping and handling costs. So there's no direct calculation or automatic calculation for shipping and handling. But one thing that I will say is here, if you have added shipping cost to the location that you're fulfilling the order from, so you see here the warehouse, if I were to go into my settings and go into the stock locations, so I'm going to open another tab here with my locations. And if I edit my location warehouse US, I could add some shipping costs here. So I could add 50, for example, and they will be entered automatically as shipping cost in the orders that are assigned to that location. So that's the shipping here, the shipping cost. But of course, you can add them manually based on your own cost, depending on the order, depending on the location. That's something that you can update before you validate the order or after you validate the order. You can also set up an email alert when you receive orders from the B2B store. So let me show you how this looks. You go in the alerts menu and you can create a new alert. You say B2B store order, for example, and the trigger order has been created on the B2B store. You can select the email addresses you want to send it to, add the PDF if you want, so you can add that information, and then you'll receive an email when the orders are coming in. So that's the alerts. Let me go back to the sales order. So this one, I have validated the order. And as I mentioned before, this works exactly now like a normal sales order that you've created yourself in Erplain. You can create your shipping orders. You can create your invoices just like a normal sales order. You can create multiple shipping orders. I'm sure you know that if you're using Erplain from one sales order. Or you can create one. You can create your invoices from the sales order, or you can create the invoices from the shipping order as well. And I'll be talking more about that in the next workshop. So that's the sales order. So now I'm going to show you a little bit the settings, some of the customization that you can do. So I'm going to go back in the B2B store menu. Before I go into settings, I'm still going to show you the dashboard. So here, this is the specific B2B store dashboard where you can visualize some of the pending orders, all the orders that are coming from a B2B store. You can see also the last connected users or customers. If you've received payments, everything here will be included in that dashboard. And then we're going to look at the settings. After the settings, we'll talk about inviting customers. So here, your main setup at the very top. This is where you'll have the ability to customize part of the link or the URL, if you're familiar with that term, but that's the link that your customers will use to connect to your B2B store. So typically, you can have your company name, and it will be .airplane.app. You can even click on that little button here, and that will copy the link automatically in your clipboard if you want to do a copy or paste later on. If you're using Google Analytics, you can add your ID here, so you can add more, you can do some more tracking from Google from here. And then the product setup here, this will be the default products that are going to be visible to your customers when you include it here. So if I only want to show on my B2B store for all customers, only the products that have that tag, I include that tag here, and this will filter only those products that have that tag. Same idea for product with brands and seasons if you use those information. Again, these are the default settings. And then something that will be applied for all your customers as well. You can choose to display your stock level for your products. You can choose to display or not the products that are out of stock. So if you still want to show the products that are out of stock on your B2B store, you can include that in that option. If you have purchase orders that are ongoing, active, but not where you have not received the products yet, those products will be incoming, and you can show the incoming stock by checking that option here. And then finally, you can allow or not to purchase products that are out of stock. So these options go a little bit together. You can show them or not, but then if you show them, you can still block customers from buying them if they are out of stock. But they will see the incoming stock if you choose that option. The rest of the default values that you're going to see here are all the price level, the tax type, the default location, taxes that will be applied by default on the B2B store. All these information are going to be canceled in some ways if you're using default values for your customer. So, for example, here, if my price level is wholesale price, but if I invite a customer that has the retail price assigned to that customer, the priority will be to the customer. So they will see the retail price, they will not see the default values. The customer selection, the customer settings has the priority for this information. These are only the default information. And then here, if you want to stop using the B2B store, you simply click on disable, and that will disable the store. All right. In terms of customization, you've got quite a few options here, as I mentioned earlier. So you can choose primary color, secondary color. So that will affect what the text looks, how the color of the text, the color of the buttons, the surrounding of your images, and that type of thing. The login headline here, this is going to be some text that you can add when the customer connects to the link that you've sent to them to connect to the B2B store. They're going to see the text that you show here, and then they're going to see more description. So here, this is the headline. This is the description that they're going to see when they connect. The login background, that's the image that will be included on the login screen. So again, the login screen will be customized with your headline, with your description, and with the background image. On top of your store, as I showed you before, you also have the ability to include a banner. So that's also an image that you can add. So here I chose the same one, but based on your preference, you can have the same or you can have different ones. That's not a problem at all. If I go into the featured products section here, that's very simple. If I want to show products at the very top, so we're going to see what it looks like. So if I want that product to show at the very top, I just simply click here. I select, I can add more, of course, but here I'm just going to add one to show you. And that product will now show at the very top above all the other products. Let me show you quickly what it looks like right away, and then we'll come back to the customization. There we go. So you've got a featured product section here, and these are the products that are going to show at the very top. So if you've got like a temporary sale, or if you want to highlight some products, that could be a good usage. To continue on the settings, filters. So quickly mentioned the filters earlier. So when your customer connects to the portal, they will have the ability to filter the product selection by tags, season, or brands. But let's say you're not using seasons or brands, you can remove them so they can only filter by tag. And then here, directly in the visibility of each of those filters, you can select the ones that you want to show. So for example, if you have tags on your product that are internal tags that are not necessarily visible. So for example, if you want to add a tag that's called high margin tag, for example, you probably don't want necessarily to show that tag in your B2B portal. So in that case, you can exclude certain tags or you can display only the selected ones. So that's another option here that you can use. So that's the filters. The About Us page, this is what I was showing you earlier. Also, this is the in the menu at the top where you can add some information that you want to share with your customers. And then finally, an option that we added last week. So for those that are already using the portal but not familiar, you now have the option to customize the email invitation. So this is the email that will be included, that will be received by your customer when you invite your customer. So you can add your subject that you want, and you can have what we call the variables. So you can add, for example, hi, and you say a customer name, and that will add the customer name. And you say, here is your password. And you add customer password, for example. So same idea for the email address. So that's a way to customize. If you did not customize that invite, that will be the standard invite email that will be received. So that's not a problem. But just make sure if you're doing some test here and if you're saving the template, the standard email invitation email will not be sent. That will be this one. So make sure you finalize this one according to your preference. So let me now talk about inviting your customers. So inviting your customers can be done in two different ways. You can go here in the B2B Store customer menu, and you can click on Add, and here you simply select the customers. So here, this one I've already invited, but you can select the customer that you want to add, that you want to invite to your store. When you select the customer, that one doesn't have an email. If it had an email, it would show by default, but you can change the email address if you want. And this is where you change or you select specific filters, product filters for your customers. If you leave them blank, that will be the standard filters that apply that we had a look earlier in the settings. But for this customer, if I only want this customer to see the product that have hiking tag, that's why I included here. But my other customers will still see the other products. And I simply give access, and the standard email invitation will be sent with a password. Okay, so this is how to invite your customers from that screen, but you can also invite your customer directly from your customer list. So for example, here, I can click on this customer here, and I'm sorry, I went a little too fast. Maybe they've already been added to the store. Oh, no, there we go. I missed that option. I'm sorry. You can click on Give Access here to the customer store, and that they will receive the same email. So that's exactly the same thing I showed you earlier. They will receive the invitation from that page. Something I like to show as well is in your customer list here. If you want to add the customers that you've already invited to the B2B portal, you can click on the columns button, and you can add the B2B user column here. And you'll see the B2B Store logo next to the customers that you've invited to the store. So that could be convenient. Let me now go back to the product list. In terms of products, as I mentioned, you can filter the products that you can publish or that you can have visible on the portal. But for any product to be available on the portal, you'll have to publish the products to your store, to the B2B store. So for example, here, this product here, component 1, this is not available on the B2B store. I will need to, for example, click on that product and publish on the store. So I'm going to choose another product. So I'm going to choose this one, for example, and I'm say publish on the store. And now that product, if it fits with the other filters that I've selected, will be available on the store. Same idea as with the customers. You can also display those that are in the B2B store. Actually, it was just for the customers. I apologize. Maybe we changed that option recently. But as you can see, by default, you'll see the B2B store logo for the products that are published in the B2B store. So if it's not an option, that means it's already included by default for all your accounts. So that's the first step in order to have your products on the portal. Make sure to publish them, and then Erplain will use the filters that you selected in the customers or in the default settings. Okay, so I think I covered most of the subjects I wanted to talk about about the B2B portal. I'm going to have a look now at your questions. Okay, so first question, how do you set up the shipping costs? So I believe I did answer the question. You can assign shipping costs for each stock location, and then you can customize those or add those directly as you validate the order, or even after you validate, because when you validate, you still have to send, if you want, the confirmation to your customer. So that's still possible after you validate the order. I see here another question. Is it possible to attach pack list BOL PDF file to the invoice so the customer can view? So by default, the customer will see the order history and the invoice history in the order. There's no other transactions that can be visible from that page. But of course, you're always welcome. If you want to send the shipping order to your customer, you can do exactly as you normally do. You go into, or there's the shipping order, for example. You open the shipping order and you can always click on action and send by email or generate the picking list if you want. That will create the PDF. I see another question. What happens if something goes wrong in the order? How can I give a feedback to the client? That's actually what I was showing you. So here I was showing you from the shipping order, but I can click on the sales order here. I can make some changes to the sales order, and then I can open the sales order and click on send by email. I can have a template if I want, or I can, of course, customize the template, and I can say, for example, I updated the shipping cost or the price of a product, etc., etc. So your customer will see the PDF with your note. So that's probably the best way to communicate after the order has been placed. Other question here, all our products are made to order, therefore we do not track inventory. Can we still offer products that we do not track inventory on the B2B store? Yes. Your products, so let me show you. If you go back into the products here, I believe I should have non-inventory products in that list. Okay, bad example. I do not. Yes, inventory not tracked. So that's the kit. Shipping tax, for example. Of course, this is non-inventory product. I could click here and send to the store. So yes, but obviously they won't see the inventory, and you won't be able to block them from buying the products if they're out of stock. But that probably is expected for non-inventory products. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. Let me see if I missed anything that I wanted to show you. Maybe something that could be useful as you're thinking about questions. In your sales reports, you should also have a filter on the B2B store. So for example, if you want to filter your sales last month, and if you want to see only the sales that are coming from the B2B store, you should have, oh, sorry, I clicked on the columns, not in the filter, B2B store order, and you say from the B2B store order, and that's only going to include the sales that are coming from the B2B store. Okay, thank you for the feedback. Fantastic overview. I appreciate that. Another question, can we block the invoice history from the B2B store? Unfortunately, no, that's not currently a feature. I can make a note of that to see if this is something that could be added maybe as an option in a future version. Maybe I'll take a note of that, but currently orders and invoice history will be available in your customer in the B2B store. Okay, any other question? Okay, so to bring it up, are we going to be able to sort products on the B2B store display? So this is a feature request that I believe we've received. I know it's been asked a few times, so I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that feature is added, but I can't confirm at that point when or if this is going to be added. I just know that this is in the feature request list. Once a customer places an order in the B2B, do they get a confirmation? So not automatic. So it's interesting because those two are one of the popular feature requests. So you as a Erplain customer, Erplain user, you can receive a notification when when orders are coming in, but not yet the customer. I believe this is another feature request. Like I mentioned, it was launched a few months ago. So we're collecting feedback and we're actively working on it. Like I showed you earlier, we've added the customization of the email invites. That was a popular feature request. We've added that one recently, and we'll continue to add more features. I just cannot confirm the timing just yet. Can you define dates when featured products would be available, special priced, or can we date limit access to the B2B store? So the featured products are something that you toggle on and off based on your needs. So it's not automatic. So if you want to add featured products to the B2B store, you go to the, let me show you again, you go back to the settings, featured products, and you select the products that you want to add. And when you're done adding those products, you just simply remove them with a little recycling button here. They will not be removed automatically. Okay, once we validate, do we get a confirmation? So you get the confirmation when the order is placed. No, the confirmation is not it's not like an event that could be used for setting up alerts, but of course you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can create a specific view. So for example, I go back in my sales order list, I'm going to reset, I'm going to create another view. I want to see only the orders that are coming from the B2B store, and I can combine it with another filter. For example, with the status is active, I can apply, and I will see the active ones that are coming from the B2B store. I can create a view. So for example, I say view, I say active B2B store orders. I create a new view with it. And now if I navigate away and back to my sales orders, I will have in my views the one I just created. The one I just created, that was the default view, but you see the idea. Okay. I'm going to set that one active view. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. I'll wait for another minute or two. I hope this session was helpful. I did recognize that some customers are already using the B2B portal, so you probably did not learn too much information if you've already been using it for a while. if you're completely new to the B2B store, I hope this was interesting and that you learned things and that you can leverage the B2B store for saving some time for you and maybe even for your customers. Okay, thanks everyone. There will be the last workshop for today in about 25 minutes that talks about the sales and purchase workflows. And I'll be covering that workshop as well. So hopefully I will talk to you then. Thank you very much. And don't hesitate if you have any questions, go on our help center. Look for the answer if you want, or if you can't find the answer, please feel free to create a ticket. Our product specialist will be happy to help you. Thank you, everyone.